Hello, everyone. Welcome. I have a new update that I've been asked to share with you all. I'm not doing a reading today. My name is Jackie Ellis. Let's start with my name. My name is Jackie Ellis. I'm an intuitive guide and mentor, Reiki master. I help people decode the energy within their life so that they can create a life that they love. I have been receiving updates as to the energies in the world that are happening, the shifts in time frames that were planned for New Earth, for the ascension of Earth, or for Earth's ascension and our ascension to the new Earth. There are powers that are trying to stop this video, so if the screen kind of goes weird or white, or if I lose a mic, then we will just work with what happens. Okay, so the name of this video, I am being told, is Karmic Loops and Delays with New Earth. Karmic Loops and Delays with New Earth. Few videos ago I talked about the harvest. I talked about how we all went through this harvest, and you can watch the video. But our souls made a choice at that point. There was a situation that happened through very well-intentioned people, but it created a free will choice question or situation. Situation is the term I'm getting. Where souls had made a choice not to stay, and then that was placed into question due to prayers that people did over those people, and other actions that were well intentioned, but created a shift in what the original plan was. Now, for those of you that know project planning, you'll understand what I'm about to say. Those of you that have never planned a project may find it hard to grasp some of this, but bear with me. I'll try and explain it the best that I can. I'm coming from my project engineering standpoint, project management standpoint, so that's how I was shown it, this timeline shift. So basically, give you a little bit of a rundown. If you need more depth in what I'm talking about, please watch the video that I did around the harvest and new Earth coming. So basically, there was souls had made a choice to either stay or not to stay. There was some free will decisions that were impacted, and so there were some souls that were swapped out for new higher vibrational souls, and those people miraculously got better because they were now host to a new soul that had made the agreement They wanted to come to Earth, but they made the agreement to finish the soul's contract, the soul's mission, before moving on to their own soul's mission for their own incarnated life. So what does that mean? It means that at the initial timing, there was initial time frame delay because there was more souls going to be placed on Earth or kept on Earth. And so the project that was originally planned, lands formed a certain way, houses formed a certain way. There's 3 kingdoms on New Earth, and those 3 kingdoms looked a certain way. That all needed to change slightly because the number of people, the number of souls were shifting and changing. That was done. That was figured out. There's been some hiccups in between, but we were ready to go again. And then all of a sudden, because the timing had been delayed, we're now in a situation where there's some souls that have changed their decision again. So it is, what I've been showing is in one sense it's a positive ripple effect. So the souls that had finished their soul's mission, so they had a lot of these souls' missions were actually healing karmic loops. They were breaking free from the karmic loops of their past lives, current and past lives. And so, and the ones that had done this easily were the ones that were the host souls. Were the souls that came in to the host and quickly forgave the other person. Quickly forgave the other person, forgave that the host, the soul, forgave them and forgave the other person for the actions and the reactions to the energy for all lives that they shared together. Now, that seems like it's simple to do. It's not always simple. It's easy to say, it's not always easy to do. This is why some souls just can't do it, because they're in full resistance to doing it. But sometimes all that they needed to do was that one action in order to choose, and their soul would have chose to stay. Now let's talk about karmic loops before I go any further, because karmic loops not only tether us to, when we have a karmic loop on ourselves, but not only tethers us to that same energy, it can sometimes prevent or make it harder for other people to feel free enough to do it. It's like we are both connected. The vision that I get is we are both connected with a rope. And it's a bungee, it's stretchable. So we can try and move away from one another, but eventually we all get snapped back together because we need to heal it. Now, when one person, say it's a two-part relationship, when one person or when it's one to many, maybe it's one to many. When that one person, and this is the many, sends love and forgiveness through every single cord, and cuts that cord and allows the energy to flow down into earth to alchemize, releasing the energy. And that's the key, releasing the energy so that those tethers don't come back. You have to consciously be willing to let it go. And you're sending love and forgiveness to yourself in all those lives that you may have reacted as well, including this one. And you're cutting and releasing all of that. Guilt, shame, anger, resentment, all the low vibrational stuff. When you allow yourself to do that, it not only frees you to be able to finally move forward, it frees the other people to feel like they can do the same thing themselves. So that they can finally forgive themselves. They can finally forgive other people. They can finally maybe forgive other people for other situations. They can finally forgive themselves for all the situations that they've ever endured. Sometimes that one single act that one person can do for themselves can free multitudes of people. What I have been shown is the actions, the positive ripple effects. So when those souls that were in the hosts, the higher vibrationals, they chose to do the soul's mission from the previous soul's mission. Okay? I feel like this is confusing. So let me use names. This is not intentional. This is not any one specific person. It's not even a person that I know. So say Joe. I'm going to give you an example. Say Joe was married to Kanisha. Joe was married to Kanisha, and Joe was very sick. No, he wasn't even sick. I'm going to say he was struggling a lot. He was not acting himself. And he was in a bad way. And so Kanisha got together with a bunch of her friends and they prayed. They prayed for him. They prayed that he would be released from whatever he needed to release so that he could live a freer life and you know, they took it upon themselves to bear his burdens for him. They now created a karmic loop for themselves because that soul, before that situation, Joe's soul had decided that he wasn't ready and he had been resisting doing his soul's mission. Now his soul's mission may have been that he needed to forgive someone in his life, not only for this life, but other lives. And he was resisting hard. It may have been that he needed to forgive himself for the actions that he did, not only in this life, but in other lives. And he was resisting hard. Now, Joe loved Kanisha. Joe loved his family that they had together. And so when he went through harvest, when his soul went through harvest, the prayers in combination with his love for his family put everything into question. Before that time period, his soul had decided that he couldn't do it. He couldn't do what he needed to do on earth. So he was going to exit. Joe couldn't do that, even though his soul couldn't finish its mission. He couldn't place. He didn't want to put his family through it. So, what he did is he agreed to another soul from another high vibrational soul to enter in his body, and his soul would go on. It would be honored, and God will allow him to incarnate somewhere into another life, heal from this life, and then incarnate another time. Sounds very weird. I understand that. Before that new soul came into Joe's physical body, the soul had to agree to finish Joe's original soul's mission. To release that karmic loop. And so those souls, every soul, every situation where this happened, this has happened already, which has freed other people, other souls that may have not chosen to stay prior to this, or may have been having trouble finishing their soul's mission, into feeling like they could. So there was situations where, and this is not the situation necessarily with Kanisha and Joe, but with other situations where this happened, there was extremely toxic relationships, and one person's has now that hadn't decided or hadn't chosen to stay because they just couldn't, they didn't think they could. The karmic release from the other person, the higher vibrational soul that came in to a host body, that karmic release has changed the situation so that they feel like they can stay now. Woohoo! Great! Perfect! There's more souls that are wanting to stay. That's great. From a project standpoint on New Earth, that means changes to New Earth, because those souls need to go into different kingdoms. They need to maybe have different houses. Technology needs to be set up for them. Like the scope of the project is shifting. It's a scope change to the project. On the flip side, because the timeline has shifted, there were certain people that had chosen, there were souls that had chosen to stay, that were determined to stay, and they were ready to step into their soul's purpose for the next part of their journey. They had already completed. Some of them have already completed their soul's purpose in this life, and they were ready to move on to the next part of their journey. But they are in a very toxic relationship, or very toxic relationships with people that have not chosen to stay and did not accept a host, or did not accept to be a host, and are still here on earth. Now, because we are in our 3D reality, balance needs to happen. It means that those that are choosing not to stay are going to be in very specific situations to still help them see what they need to see in order to heal. And if you're in a relationship with those people and they're in full resistance for doing that, they're going to lash out, they're going to be toxic, and the toxicity is going to get harsh. Extremely harsh. And because this timeline has shifted for so long, the toxicity in those relationships has gotten very scary and very dark for people. And there's some souls that have previously had chosen to stay that can't, they're just so weighed down from all this toxic energy that has been projecting towards them, blaming them, causing them harm. And they took it upon themselves as their responsibility, their burdens, they just feel helpless to change it. And unfortunately, they're not looking at the support and guidance that they have within the heavens. They're looking at the chaos around them, because that's what they physically see. That's what they feel. There was key people that were needed and chosen to help create legacies of love. And key people that were chosen because they were ready and they had the skill sets to be able to assist the three kingdoms in coming together and creating unity for the world, and healing opportunities for the world, and love and light for the world. And there's some souls that are now choosing to leave. So we will not have their skill set going forward, which means that it could be more difficult to do this going forward. I am personally going to miss those souls. I am personally clearly shook up by this. But I also know that we will persevere. We will find a way. We may have to adapt and adjust and baby step some parts of the plans until people are ready. We may have to pray that those that aren't quite ready will accept quantum healing so that they can fully step in. on a faster time frame as we move forward. I'm just going to put that out there. I want New Earth to be in this reality now. I want to be where we need to be, to start what we need to start. But the timelines have shifted because of this ripple effect. Some of it has been positive, but some of it has created some sadness and emotion. And in all that, the project plans have changed. And it may have made things a little bit more complicated, but we will sort through it. We will detangle what we can detangle and figure it all out. Whatever needs to be done, as long as we come together in unity, we can do it. So yes, people are breaking karmic loops, and it's allowing other people, not only themselves, to feel freer, it's allowing other people the chance to choose different for their life moving forward, which is positive. For those that find themselves in very toxic situations, know that the other person is on their own journey. But you do not need to stay in the line of fire. Find a safe spot to go. It is not your responsibility to be their punching bag. It's not your responsibility to take on the burdens that they are trying to project towards you. That is their energy, not yours. Allow yourself to release that. Release those burdens. Allow yourself to forgive them for reacting to whatever is going on in their life. And allow yourself to love and forgive yourself for staying in that line of fire for as long as you have. I am asking every day I ask that the time frame be brought forward so that these people in the toxic situations like this do not have to suffer any longer. I realize that some people may not feel like they have a safe spot to go. So I ask that if there is, I just ask that it get resolved somehow. It's in the best interest of every soul's decision. Karmic loops. We will get through this. We will thrive after. As much as it feels like New Earth has been cancelled, it has not been cancelled. The project's changed, that's all. And I'd like to do a hard line, and so that we're like, okay, this is what's gonna happen to it, but God is honoring, Adonai is honoring every soul's choice. So for every soul that's choosing not to be here, plans change. For every soul that is choosing to stay, plans change. Let's get this party started. Let's allow ourselves to step into this next part of our journey. And I know that honoring everyone's soul's choice is important. I understand that. My heart breaks for those that are in situations that are toxic. And Donna just said they don't have to be my child. They don't have to be. They can choose a different way. It's the free will choice. And there may be a lot of people that watch this video and may not like that. Or may not feel like it's possible for some people, and I get that. I do. Alright, I thought this was going to be a better video, like a more upbeat video, but apparently it's a necessary message. My heart's going out to everyone. New Earth is coming and could be coming soon. The time frame needs to work for all souls, though. I love you all. Much love. Do like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Take care.